Hi, we are SwitchDoo. Let me ask you a short question. Who of you guys ever tried to cancel a contract prior to its termination date? Think fitness studio contract, phone plan, anything like that. Hands up, please. All right, so close to everyone. Okay, here's the story. 6 months ago, you thought that it's a good idea to make a new fitness studio contract. Now, as it turned out, you don't want or need that contract anymore, but it's close to impossible to cancel it without paying a high early cancellation fee. Luckily, there is SwitchDoo. SwitchDoo will match you with other persons who are interested in exactly the same contract which you want to get rid of. In return, the subsequent contractor will benefit of a discount and or like a shorter runtime of the whole contract. In that process, SwitchDoo will make money from a tiny cut which is paid by the seller of the contract. Let me give you another example and walk you through our prototype. Here we have SwitchDoo, where you sign on with your 7-pass. Here's an overview over all available categories. We choose all. Now they are shown all contracts which are placed by other people, where you have the possibility to advertise your own contract you want to get rid of, or as in my case, set up a search query or notification for a leasing contract of a BMW. Okay, now we can close the app, and as soon as someone publishes an offer for a leasing contract for a BMW, we can press on the alert, and after a little setup, we can almost immediately take over their contract. Okay. So, see, it's quite easy to get rid of your contract and get at the same time a new BMW. SwitchDoo would integrate nicely in the infrastructure offered by ProSieben by utilizing 7-pass and 7-payment, but more importantly, it would greatly benefit from ProSieben's outreach to potential customers who are locked in existing contracts but would rather switch to services offered by ProSieben or one of their 45 subsidiary startups like Mach dich krass or Gymmodo. All right, thank you.
So would you have to partner with the companies that are allowed to switch? For instance, would you already have to have a pre-existing agreement with T-Mobile or BMW?
No, actually. Okay, sure. Actually, it's part of most of the contracts out there that you can transfer your contract to another person as soon as both parties agree to that transfer. Like gas, electricity, heating, T-Mobile, internet, phone contracts, leasing, everything.
So in Germany it's possible. I don't know, international insurance.
And I think this is a pretty huge problem, that even though regulatory and legal fundamentals make it possible for most companies to set these contracts over a runtime of 2 years or more, which is not up to date anymore.
So what you're saying is that it is possible legally to step into somebody else's contract?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I can print you out the switch form for T-Mobile.
So I think it's a great start. So how deep would you have to go, which I would call legal engineering, in order to make this really as seamless as you have demoed it to us?
Okay, so if all the legal things, like how to notify the company, but these are pretty standard processes here in Germany. So if you send them a letter notifying that the contract owner wants to change, they need to accept it, basically. So we would, in that case, get an agreement from the seller of the contract, and at the same time a legally binding statement of the buyer, as we demonstrated. Bilal, just buy the contract. He forgot his signature, now it's legally binding. Okay, and now he's the official owner. That should, in my understanding, be enough for a transfer of that contract.
So would you have to run, well, I don't know if you even have to do them in this country, but things like credit checks and, you have to be a candidate for most contracts in the States, so, you have to.
But in that case, I think it's the responsibility of T-Online or anything to check their credit trustworthiness, right?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
You should definitely talk to Veribox. We just acquired a huge, the largest European consumer portal who does exactly that, but not in such a slick, smooth interface.